It's interesting that relationships are built on agreements, and when God's involved, it's a covenant all of a sudden. That's the truth about relationships and the word covenant. My definition of the word prophet is the level or degree someone empowers you. Now, the false prophet is the level or degree they lack to empower you, or if they disempower you. Currently, people wearing a white lab coat are considered to be the most powerful authority figure to most people's subconscious mind. Having that particular herd mentality in our society is dangerous. What do you think about someone in a white lab coat that's telling people there's nothing you could have done to cause this, and there's nothing that you can do about it? You're going to die. That's it. You're doomed. You've got so many days to live, like 30 days, and that's it. What do you call that? Most people take that bummer home and share it with their family and say, it's time for me to check out. Norman Cousins wrote a book, The Healing Power of Laughter, and he did not believe the people in white lab coats. He had a different paradigm. He thought, if I'm going to die, I'm going to go laughing. And he bought a bunch of funny films and laughed himself well. The healing power of laughter, that's a true story. Well, what activates the main lymphatic vessels in the body? The thoracic duct is right between the lungs, and deep breathing, such as laughter, activates it. How many people think that's pretty cool? Like to have fun? Buy yourself some funny films. It's a healthy thing. Not too much, or it can be too much stress on the system. You can actually detox too fast laughing if you've got a bunch of poisons loaded up. And have you ever heard of they're drunk with laughter? Be careful with that too. There's moderation in all things. Doctors are asking people to laugh. They're prescribing laughter more and more. So they say, you've got to laugh more. You're too serious about stuff. Let me hear you laugh. All right. Ha. Can you do better than that? Okay. Ha ha. And pretty soon, they're laughing at themselves, struggling to laugh. It's hilarious. About my hair. This is as long as my hair has ever been, my entire life. I have this one person that I trust with my hair who's great. She also doubles as an intuitive therapist. She just talks about all the stuff you're not supposed to talk about. Relationships, politics. She's awesome. She's great therapy at the same time. Well, it's amazing how I grow my hair out and all of a sudden, I'm giving my first presentation strictly on peace and love. So I think if the whole world just became hippies, we would have solved the peace problem a long time ago. There's something to this. And it's okay to laugh at that now. There are many different laws here. There are laws that have to do with where you eat your food. There's a special herb on a certain farm in Mexico where anybody in that part of the land who gets sick, they take this one herb and they get healed. That same herb from the same farm in Mexico doesn't have the same effect on anybody else in the world. Plus, that same herb that's grown in other people's lands in other parts of the world doesn't work the same for the people there either. There's still more to learn about eating food that grows in your land. We've been learning more about different foods and soils, and we still have a lot more to learn about different lands, foods, and seasons. Have you ever heard of people who take care of their plants? Their plants energetically take care of them too. There are laws dealing with that too. Now, the abuse of power. Remember the George Washington quote? The marvel of all history is the patience with which men and women submit to burdens unnecessarily laid upon them by their governments. We said, as soon as people think they've got some kind of control type power, most people start abusing the power they've been given. Why? It's important for you to see some of the main reasons why. They do it for control. They do it because they get addicted to it. It's like if you're playing with sugar and you've got sugar on your fingers, you're going to start licking them, to see what that tastes like, and they get hooked. They like the initial idea of easy rewards without punishment, and by actually experiencing easy rewards from some very small and subtle burdens shared by the masses with no one strong enough to hold them accountable, instead of feeling any guilt, they actually blame it on all the people for not being strong enough. I happen to know for a fact this is exactly how the abuser's mind thinks. And many of you know someone who is close to you who you can identify with this behavior. And eventually, the illusion of control-type power to punish anyone who even questions them or looks at them the wrong way. They do it because of their ego. They do it because they don't understand. But they're just little children in the middle of a temper tantrum. I hope you understand it's okay to be like a child if you're innocent and teachable, because it's time for us to learn and grow. It's time to make the positive shifts, really, for what we've been through in this life and the transition we're in the middle of right now in the big scheme of things, the Earth's transition between realms. Life is a purification. We have liberty and justice, which is choices and consequences every step of the way. This is where we choose our ultimate development. This is about our freedom or slavery, empowerment or disempowerment. None of us are meant to suffer. We're meant to learn the differences between love and hate and all duality. Everything has its opposite. If through our suffering we learn from it, then our suffering is not in vain. In other words, none of the bummers belong to any of us. Each bummer has an even bigger woohoo, which is a gold nugget of empowerment. This is the core of the laws of empowerment and is beyond any cultural borders. Nature does not respect persons. Respect the principles if you want to respect yourself and others. If you want to respect nature or God. Be true to the principles if you want to continue to grow in the right direction.